City and in the territory on west, there's just one way to handle the killers and the spoilers, and that's with a U.S. Marshal and the smell of gun smoke. Gunsmoke, starring William Conrad. The transcribed story of the violence that moved west with young America. The story of a man who moved with it. Matt Dillon, United States Marshal.
A stranger named Joe Beaudry killed a man in Dodge and then got on his horse and rode 90 miles northwest. He made it across the Smoky Hill River before his horse played out and fell behind a small knoll. Beaudry put a knife in him and settled down to wait. Half hour later, he shot my horse out from under me and crippled Chester's with a slug in the shoulder. And then he gave up. He just threw down his guns and walked toward us across the prairie, his hands in the air.
You think it's a trick, Mr. Dillon?
I don't know, Chester, but if he makes a move, I'll kill him.
Yes, sir.
That's far enough, Beaudry. Now turn around.
I ain't armed, Marshal.
No. You know, I'm curious, Beaudry. Why didn't you shoot it out?
I don't want to kill anybody, Marshal.
You killed a man in Dodge.
What do you need?
Gun, I had to.
Some of the witnesses say he didn't.
What do you need?
I heard him. That's why I lit out.
Man looks guilty when he runs. You should have stayed and faced it.
Now, what
there.
kind of shake could I get in a strange town, Marshal? Everybody be against me.
The law protects you if you're innocent. You'll have to stand trial now anyway.
Well, maybe I made a mistake, but I'm still alive.
Yeah, and a long way from Dodge.
Say, by gracious, that's right. How are we going to get back, Mr. Dillon?
Well, we crossed the Overland Express route about 5 miles back. We'll just walk to the road and wait for a stage, I guess.
Yeah, but the stage don't...
Hello, traveler. Welcome to my humble abode. Please help yourself to the... Allow me to introduce myself. I am Dr. Mago, at your service. I'm doing this because I've suffered the unforgiving trials of the waste. I have felt terrible, crippling hunger that pushes a man beyond reason. I discovered this shelter in one of my countless peregrinations, and in the course of time I've set out to create an oasis of philanthropy. Oh, stop it. You're too kind. Please, enjoy a hot meal. It's the least I can do. When you're ready to leave,
Well, if it is...
I hope you enjoy the rest, friend. You've been an exceedingly amicable guest, but I'm afraid I cannot meet your request. I have other plans, you see.
Beaudry and get his guns.
Yes, Mr. Dillon. I sure do wish you'd stop closer to the stage road, though, Beaudry. 5 miles is a long way.
Ah, you're awake. You're even more vigorous than I had anticipated. Very good.
That was a mighty good horse.
Come on, Beaudry.
Ooh, lively, very lively. Get in some exercise, but please, don't strain yourself. It can alter the flavor of the meat, making it unsavory. Now just behave yourself a few minutes. I'll return shortly.
Andre, it's a-comin'. And it's painted bright red, too, Mr. Dillon.
Hey, what if they don't stop for us, Marshal?
Road agents don't usually carry their saddles. The driver will notice that if he's awake.
Driving a 6-horse hitch ought to keep him awake.
Yeah, but not sober.
Over here!
Shotgun the messenger's holding.
He doesn't need it. We want to ride, that's all.
Where's your horses?
Marshal, please, you remember what you said.
We lost them.
You don't look like greenhorns to me.
It can happen to anyone.
That's cool. The one in the middle ain't even armed. Pick 'em up, Hank.
All right, Berryman, it's your treasure box.
How far you going?
Fort Downer.
It's about 60 miles to Fort Downer. You're crowding us. That'll be 15 cents a mile.
How much is that, Mr. Dillon?
About $9, Chester.
$9 apiece, that is, and payable right here.
All right. It's high, but I can't argue with you now. Here you are. 20, 5, 6, 7.
All right, mister. Get in. I don't know how the passengers are going to like this, though.
You got room for a couple more in here?
Anybody can't keep his horse ought to walk home.
There's room for 2, maybe, but not 3.
Oh?
Take a look for yourself, mister.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Chester?
Oh, now, sir, I can't...
I don't want Beaudry on top. You'll have to get up there, Chester.
Well, I guess you're right, sir. But I think you fellas ought to charge us less if I can't ride inside.
The Overland stage guarantees a ride, mister. Comforts the passengers' problem.
Get in, Beaudry.
Yeah.
Now get fixed somehow. You've held us up long enough.
Give me a hand. You don't look like a judge, mister.
I'm not a judge.
Well, you must be important somehow. We order these men around, and that fellow on top there calls you sir.
Dillon?
Well, let's just say that...
Did you find out who's behind the disappearance? A kidnapping cannibal, you say? Shit, that's a surprise. Most of the cannibals around here have been put out of business by the NCR. Anyway, here's your reward. Excellent work. I've got a lucrative bounty if you're... That's not offensive. Someone putting a 12 gauge up your ass and pulling the trigger, now that's offensive. I once saw a zombie do that to one of my friends, so it left a strong impression. Don't get me wrong, I've met some square ghouls like Doc Friday and... Well, let me think. I'm sure there are others. I'll get back to that. Anyway, the incident I'm referencing happened over 10 years ago. Me and my partner James were tracking a bounty in New Mexico. We were unfamiliar with the territory, and eventually some ghouls got the jump on us. I was wounded, and James was green, so it went bad. They were a collection of ghoul fanatics from some reservation, and they took us captive after the firefight. Their leader was a ghoul named Phillips. Ray Phillips, that's it. I think he had relatives back east. Anyway, old Ray took special pride in making us smooth skins suffer. He said he would use the 5 pains method on us. He started with James, cutting off his nose, his hand, and then a foot. Ray was going to cut him in half, but James called him a zombie cunt. Ray didn't appreciate the label, so he responded by shoving his shotgun into James and pulling the trigger. Now, how I got away is an interesting story since, god damn it, look at the time, I've got to finish this typing, and you've gotten me distracted. Are you ready to work or not? Good. This next contract has some significant risks, but a hefty payday to match it. Your target is a gunslinger known simply as Jack. Our client hasn't given us much to work with, but it doesn't matter. Jack used to be the chief gunman for Heck Gunderson and managed the muscle in Gunderson's operations. When I said he managed the muscle, I mean he pretty much was the muscle. Jack intimidated countless landowners into selling their property. Along the way, Jack managed to rack up a significant body count. Over the years, he became more and more ruthless. Recently, Jack shot up a farmer and his wife, so Mr. Gunderson quickly cut all ties with his pistolero. Now, Jack is just another gun for hire. Without Gunderson to protect him, though, Jack is fair game. He's made plenty of enemies, and they all want to see him dead. Last I heard, he had drifted into Good Springs, hoping to get work with the locals. Jack is as fast as they come, so be ready, kid. Good luck.
Zimmer, he that real testy fella? I don't like him at all. He's always on the prod about something or other.
Wait a
Just
minute,
little bit
Chester.
ago,
Wait a minute. What about Zimmer, Beaudry?
His real name is Chess Rhine.
So?
Well, at least that's the name was under his picture.
Well, where was this picture, Beaudry?
Well, in California, tacked onto a pole.
Go on.
Well, I think the reward was $500. Of course, I ain't certain.
You sure it was his picture?
Yeah, Marshal, I'm sure. Heard a lot of talk about him in Sacramento just before I left.
What kind of talk?
Well, Like one time he rode in a stagecoach as a passenger, and he was peaceful enough until some...
Well, if it isn't the courier turned bounty hunter. I hear you're making quite a mark in the Mojave. I applaud you. Of course, I assume you're here for the bounty. Old man Gunderson's going soft, I'm afraid. He'd have nothing if it weren't for me and this pistol. And as for you, I think Randall and Associates are trash. In fact, every bounty hunter they've sent after me has been trash. And that pretty much makes you trash as well.
Well, this stage will be robbed long before it gets to Fort Downer, Marshal.
Make your move.
Without a fight. Thanks for telling me, Baudry, and for your sake, I hope it's the truth. If it isn't, you're going to be in more trouble than you are now. All right, keep an eye on him, Chester. I'll be back in a few minutes. Yes, Berryman?
Yeah?
Out here a minute, will you?
What's up, mister?
I want to talk to you, that's all. Alone. Come on outside, huh?
Be right back, Hank. Save some of that whiskey for me.
Right, Barry.
What's on your mind, mister?
How long you been an express messenger, Berryman?
2 years?
Hey there. Did you kill Jack yet? I'm a little surprised to see you unscathed. Good work.
You handle yourself?
I've got a contract on a crazy fiend. You ready for another job? All right, here's the story. The West Side Militia has lost some personnel to a marauding fiend ringleader named Kurt Cahill. He and his crew have been ambushing patrols and periodically taking captives. Reports indicate his favorite torture is gnawing on the intestines of living captives. Needless to say, he's a sick fuck. Bag this asshole and head back, okay? Good luck.
Well, maybe. Tell me, what's the best place for a holdup between here and Fort Downer?
Well, Willow Bend, I expect. Man on a horse could keep hidden there till we were right on top of him.
All right, tell the driver to whip those horses through Willow Bend as fast as they'll go. Chester will be on the roof to help you, and I'll sort of organize the passengers inside.
Well, now if there's going to be a holdup, Marshal, you
Well,
should...
I don't know, but we'll play it safe. And, by the way, Berryman, don't let on inside there about this, huh? Or, who I am. All right?
Okay, Marshal.
Thank you. Good night, Berryman.
Night, Marshal. Oh, Marshal.
Yeah?
We got a jug of station whiskey inside if you want a drink.
I don't think it'd do much good. I've heard of that stuff freezing solid on a cold night.
We will return for the second act of Gunsmoke in just a moment. But first, backing up the great CBS Radio News Team election night will be Univac, the new electric brain operating for the first time to bring you faster, more accurate, more complete election night totals. November 4th, starting at 8 p.m. New York time, CBS Radio reports the election returns from coast to coast. Make CBS Radio your election headquarters to hear the trends, the color, and the mounting tide of results. Reported by Edward R. Murrow, Lowell Thomas, and the rest of the same great CBS radio team that made convention reporting history earlier this year. Now, the second act of Gunsmoke.
Did you take care of Kurt? Good work. You're bringing us
left Monument Station.
The NCR needs help tracking down a defector. You ready to work? Good. Here's the story. Chuck Bowdry, a senior NCR ranger, recently defected to Caesar's Legion. Before jumping ship, he killed 2 fellow rangers while on patrol. Our client wants this guy terminated with extreme prejudice. We don't have many leads, but he's said to be on the run up north. I happen to know that several rangers in Bowdry's old troop Used to crash at Field Shack, close to Nellis. You might try there. Good luck.
But suddenly he was pulling them in and breaking at the same time. One move by Zimmer at that point, and I'd have killed or crippled him.
What are we stopping here for? Hey, driver, what's up?
Wheels been dragging. Couldn't you feed that pole?
All right, everybody out.
Well, what's that is? Driver, what's wrong?
The wheel's stuck. Can't pull it off with you in there. Come on, hurry it up.
Beaudry, get over there by Chester.
Well, don't you worry about me. You keep an eye on Reed.
Go on now.
Come on.
What do you think, Dillon?
Oh, they'd have jumped us by now, Berryman, while everybody was still inside. But keep your head
You're
up.
dumber than you look, kid.
You watch the other
Did you
side
really
of the road.
expect to get the drop on a seasoned ranger? Either way, I'm not...
Over here!
What do you mean it wasn't grease? Why not?
Sizzling hot. You have to cool before we can take it off. That drunken fool at Monument didn't grease this one, that's all. Take a bullwhip to him when I get back there.
Well, you can grease it now, can't you?
I could, mister, if I had any grease.
Well, you mean you haven't got any?
Not unless I render you down and make some. Now get out of my way.
Well, any more of that and I'll... All right, forget it. What are we going to do?
How about grass, driver?
Hey, that's an idea.
Wrap it around the spindle and go...
Is Chuck dead? Good. I must admit, I harbor an acute loathing for traitors of any sort. So here's a bonus on me. There's another bounty if you're here to work. It's hot and humid as fuck, and the mosquitoes will literally eat your ass alive. I grew up on a farm, herding Brahmin and other livestock. Some of the places are still irradiated, but it's mostly cleared up. The Gulf's a rough region, but people get by. It would take an act of God to tame that place. I doubt even Caesar and his crazies could manage it. Anyway, quit distracting me. Are you ready to work? Alright, the target is Billy Bogan, a recently escaped convict from the NCR Correctional Facility. He was on death row for the murder of an NCR Ranger, Captain Gunn. Young Billy was headed for the gallows, but now he's running free, much to the chagrin of the NCR. Seeing as to how they're stretched thin, the NCR's relying on you to see that Billy doesn't escape justice. Our informant said that Billy's formed a new gang composed of ex-cons, raiders, and various misfits, and apparently they're armed to the teeth. Billy and his gang are headed north, likely to raid in lawless regions. I'm betting they're camped outside the Northern Passage. Get up there and bag that punk. Good luck.
I don't know. But this one's still alive.
Well, that's the stock tender, but who are those two?
Never mind them, they're dead.
Scalp. Indian sure must have surprised him, sneaked right up.
All right, Berryman, let's get the stock tender out of this smoke. Take his head there.
Yeah.
They scalped him, too. And he ain't even dead.
Never mind that. Just pick him up easy. It's all right, fella. Stage is here.
Indians, Comanches, they scalped me. Never even heard of them.
Ask him who those other men were. What were they doing here?
Leave him be, the man's dying.
Water. Give me a drink.
Chester, get the water bag.
Yes, sir. Can't you let the man alone, Dillon?
Scalped 3 men and stole horses. That's Comanches for you.
Here's the water, sir.
Oh, thanks. Here, fella. Here now. Take a drink. There we go.
Road agents, those two, they held me up. They said they'd hide till the horses were unhitched. And then hold up the stage. Had a partner on the stage to keep the passengers out of it.
What was his name? Their partner, I mean.
Put my head down, mister. It's bubbling over.
The stock tender's eyes clouded up and went blank as I laid his head back. And then Then there was a scuffle behind me, and before anybody could move, Zimmer grabbed Gant, and using him as a shield, he walked backward toward the stage. The old man stopped struggling when he felt Zimmer's gun in his back, and the rest of us just stood there watching, helpless.
First man draws a gun, Gant'll die.
You gave yourself away, Chess Rhine.
Take it easy, man. Take it easy. This fool's nervous.
Shut up. You, driver. Lead those teams down the road a piece, and then come back here. Gant and I'll take the stage alone. Come on.
You better do what he says, driver. He's scared enough to shoot.
Hey there.
Yes, I better.
Did you take care of Billy and his gang? You're kicking ass out there, kid. At this rate, I'm gonna be out of contract soon. But don't worry, there's plenty of work left. Come back.
Can't do it.
There's a bounty in Westside. You ready? Yeah, I know about him. He's a fucking butcher and a pederast. Some people don't believe he exists, but he's quite real. He's close to 7 feet tall and stronger than any man alive. I saw him rip a man's jawbone out and bludgeon him to death with it. I don't like to admit it, but I worked with him on one job. It's the worst mistake I made in the course of my career. I'm no stranger to killing, but that maniac actually enjoyed it. We were supposed to acquire a man who had fled to the NCR, but things went wrong. I was watching the door when the judge went inside to haul the target out, since we were supposed to get him alive. Soon after, I hear the shotgun go off and a kid screaming bloody murder, so I run inside. There was blood everywhere. He had shot the man and then scalped him before I could blink. He was just standing there, grinning. He turned and grabbed the target's child, little red-headed boy. That's when I shot him. I shouldn't say any more. Are you ready to work or not? I regret that I only wounded him. He never forgot either. When I saw him standing over that boy, knife in hand, I saw what I might have become. A fucking monster. At that point, I decided to start my own firm, even if it meant risking my neck. The judge had his own plans, of course. He started up Richter and Associates, where he's the primary shot caller. From what I hear, he might be moving to Vegas. If that's true, things are likely to get a lot bloodier here in the Mojave. Damn it, you got me distracted. Are you... Good. Before we delve into this bounty, I'm going to give you a quick history lesson. Now, stop rolling your eyes, damn it. This relates to the job. I'll assume you're unfamiliar with the regulators. In the eastern U.S., regulators are idealistic vigilantes, hell-bent on killing bad guys. However, in the core region, regulators are a very different breed. They're basically thugs who force businesses to pay protection money. They're authoritarian gangsters, really. This relates to your bounty because the target is a Western regulator by the name of Dallas Courtright. Recently, Dallas drifted into Westside and appointed himself sheriff and de facto dictator. He's taxing commerce and breaking heads left and right. In light of this, a collection of concerned citizens has contracted us to convince Sheriff Courtright to leave by any means necessary. This is an unusual contract in that you don't have to kill or capture the target. Just convince him that leaving is in his best interests. If he's a stubborn ass and you have to let the lead do the talking, so be it. Just get him out of Westside. Good luck.
What are you talking about?
You shoot me and Baudry will kill you from behind.
What? That's right, Ryan. Yeah, you walk back over towards the hut so you can see I'll let you go. He'd trick you, too. But I can still kill you, Marshal.
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. You can still kill me. But I'm paid to die. I settled that in my mind when I took this job. It's only a matter of time. But what about you, Ryan? You ready to die?
You can't do this.
I'm doing it, Ryan. I'm doing it now. I'm going to walk right up to you, and you're going to give me that gun.
Stop, Marshal. Don't.
Let me have the gun, Ryan. Easy, Ryan. Now!
Did he hit you, Mr. Dillon?
No, he waited a second too long. Yeah. Yeah, you did fine, Baudry. I'm going to remember it.
Yeah.
Now, give me back that gun.
What? You still gonna take me in?
Of course.
No, that don't seem fair, Dillon.
I'm only a marshal, Baudry, not a judge.
Oh. I'm not sure I wouldn't rather die right here.
Wait, Baudry. Now, I'll testify at your trial, and I promise you it'll be a fair one, but that's all. Now, give me the gun.
You don't make it easy, Marshal.
My job's to bring you in. Any way I can get you there.
What can I do for you, citizen?
That's right.
Why, thank you. You know, I have made quite a difference here. There's plenty of...
The next day, I turned Chess Ryan over to the Army at Fort Donner. The colonel wanted credit for sending him back to California, and I wanted to be rid of him. Took us 3 days to ride back to...
Easy. All right. Next man.
Baudry. Have his gun back. But even so, he managed to supply us with antelope steaks every morning. I made him borrow Chester's gun.
You found the note. Good. Do you know why I'm here? I buried him in the desert. I'm here to give you an offer. You stand to gain everything. You know what has to happen then. You should have taken it. Aren't you going to bed?
Join us again next week as Matt Dillon, U.S. Marshal, fights to bring law and order out of the wild violence of the West in Gunsmoke. Thousands of acres of timber are afire in the Midwest, New England, Far West, and southern areas. This is a word of warning to all who may be in or near woodlands. Take every precaution to avoid setting fires.
live down